Holy shit. I woke up this morning and what did I see? Bloody dance floor. Oh my god. The crypto markets went berserk yesterday and we are just dumping every single thing. You can literally see we literally have a sea of red between 5 to 10% thereabout. Only our friend White Rock, which is seems to be holding up well, which is quite surprising, even despite all this downturn and everything going on in the market. And this is just ridiculous. Like literally, I just woke up, you guys, and I'm just wondering, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is happening? I'm sure when we look at the grid, fair grid index, and what do we see? Of course, we are reduced to 61. Everyone is freaking out. I went on crypto Twitter, everybody's freaking out, everybody's asking questions, what's going on, and stuff like that. But like, I guess that's the question all of you guys are asking, and most people have just texted me and asking what's going on in the market, what's going on with my trades, what happened to my Ethereum trade that I entered in the last video that I posted. And guys, I will tell you, ding ding ding, what do you think happened? Of course, I was stopped out again. Thankfully, I put in stop loss, so I didn't lose so much. I still have about 4,821 in liquidity still in my wallet and in the platform, in my account rather. And now I'm just looking at it. Of course, I lost my realized PNL was minus $159 because I longed the market and Ethereum went literally against me, and that was a bad call on my part. I was just anticipating and expecting a support. We would turn the $2,800 level to support and we'll go upwards further from there. Meanwhile, that's not what really happened. We got rejected at the $2,800 levels, and we have seen dumped after. We have seen been dumping after then, and right now Ethereum is at 200, 400, $2,400 levels. So this is quite interesting for us to look at. So what right now I will be looking at is at the levels and seeing what will be happening in Ethereum. You can see, pretty much we are still in this range and we seem to be range bounding within this range. So this is quite interesting that we are still doing this, and we should be looking at something. I'll be looking at, this will be quite interesting for us to look at. Now I just changed my mind on what I wanted to do, and I think this will be quite evident. Let's look at the Fibonacci retracement tool and look at it from the high to the lows and seeing what that tells us what is going to be happening in the near term. So if we look at the Fibonacci levels from the high to this low, for the local low here, we can see that we have a level of around 2,600 to 2,500 thereabout. So you should be seeing 2,500, 400, 2,400, which is what we are bouncing at. So we're literally bouncing at the 0.786 levels of the Fibonacci retracement tool. So let's see if we sustain that or we turn that into support. That is also showing us another higher low over here, because we are higher than this last low of here. So that is quite interesting. And let's see if right now, looking at this look at this low, it is actually lower than this one here. So this is quite interesting, and it shows us that we might still be going up after that. So that is something for us to look at and for us to see if we retain this kind of levels. So this is showing us that we still remain on an upward trajectory in the near term. This is kind of just par for the course. Looking at the RSI, you see we seem to have been dumping and we seem to be facing the downside. So let's see if this holds, and if this if we have a continuation of the downtrend and further downward movement, it'll be something for us to watch. Then we go into the godfather of all of them, which is Bitcoin, and wondering what are you doing? And the question that people keep asking, what are we doing and what are we going to be doing? And this is the question I want to answer for you today, what I'll be doing in this bounce zone. Because literally, if you guys remembered, the short I literally entered last week was anticipating this actual dump. So it's quite interesting, but I was ahead of the pack in that sense. I was too early for it, maybe a little bit excited, but I was too early for the call, and I entered the short when I shouldn't have entered the short. So now thinking about it in hindsight, I should have entered the short much more later than when I entered it. So imagine if I entered the short around on Wednesday, that would have been a perfect short, and look at the dump following that. This is ridiculous, literally ridiculous. Let's even look at it. If I entered the short on Wednesday, I would have, no, this is wrong. If I entered a short on Wednesday. Oh, if I enter the short on Wednesday, right now we will be around 5.8% in profit, and which is not bad at all. I really say not bad. So right now we're at $103,000 levels in Bitcoin. We literally dumped all the way from going from daily chart. Let me look at it. Oof, that candle is bananas, eh? So we literally dumped. We started to do the dump on Wednesday, and yesterday we had a gigantic candle. See that candle, and we had another candle following this morning. This is what we are seeing on Bitcoin. And what is this telling us? Of course, we continue to watch it, and we can see right now we have formed a higher low, and this is what we are seeing. And yeah, so it doesn't, no need to panic right now. No need to panic right now. We can see like we have formed a higher low. We will continue to watch this. If we reclaim the support of the 105, then we'll probably see a likewise pull back to the upside. So this is what we'll be watching, and we'll be expecting movement to that side. Now let's take a look at something quite interesting that I found interesting when I was doing my research and just doing my analysis on the market and looking at the Fibonacci tools from the high here to the low. It's something for us to watch here. I think it's quite interesting for us to watch this. So let me make it visible. So if we look at this Fibonacci retracement tool, what are we be able to spot here, and what can we see here in this chart? What is the chart telling us right now? This chart is telling us literally that we have our levels of Fibonacci, which is the golden pocket, which is always very, very interesting and always showing us an indicator, and most times we always bounce within that zone. So that zone is always quite interesting and important for us to look at, which is the 0.618 levels, and between the 0.618 levels and the 0.786 levels. And we can see ding ding ding, yeah, it literally coincides with the trend box I've already drawn based on my own analysis, looking at the chart and looking at where we are having a lot of confluence and a lot of movement in the market and a lot of volume in the market and liquidity. So we can see that coincides with the $105,000 780 levels and the $104,400 levels, which is quite interesting over here. So this is just telling us there's a lot of liquidity and a lot of volume in that area. So what we should be expecting is, if we get to, and we literally went down exactly to the level 1 or the Fibonacci retracement tool, so which was at $102,700 levels. So this is quite interesting, and we bounce from there. So let's see if we can reclaim support or we face resistance. That is the question now to be seen. If we use the $400,000 levels as resistance, or we use it as support, or we reclaim it as a support. That would be interesting. That is a very interesting area for us to be looking at in the near term, and this is what will be determining what we'll be doing moving forward. So somewhere around here we should be looking at that. Let's take a further analysis and look at and use another indicator which will be telling us what to do, and we'll be looking at the volume, and looking at the volume, and this is a tool looking at where the volume is literally sitting right now in the chart, and this is quite interesting and telling us right now we have a big volume. Right now we have so much volume sitting around. Like I said, again, it comes back to what we're talking about. This is the $103,000 levels, $103,000 levels. There's a lot of volume, and this is the point of control. So you see a lot of traders are battling within this zone. So this is quite evident, and we see another liquidity high zone area around the $108,000 levels. We see another level that is high zone area of $94,000 level. So these are the levels that there's a lot of volume and a lot of liquidity standing in there, and these are the areas which we're looking at confluence. We can look at another one again telling us what is happening in the chart, so that will be interesting for us to look at. Let's just wait a moment while the indicator is loading. I won't use that for now, then we look at this. So this is quite interesting, also spotting or telling us the same thing pretty much that the other one has told us. The $108,000 level is important, and the $103,000 level is important, and all of this is just indicators showing us the volume control. That now, this is what I wanted to look at. I think this is very fascinating, and for us to be able to look at, and this also gives us an indication of what is going on in the chart on every single high definition zones and telling us what is happening. And you can see, even with this chart right now, there's a point of control around $103,000 levels. So this is quite interesting. We'll see what traders eventually do. So this is just doing it according to the different zones and what is happening in the chart. And you can see here in this level of yesterday, there was a point of control around the $108,000 levels. So right now we have a different point of control, which is at $103,000 levels, which is quite important for us to reclaim. And let's see what the traders and the bulls and bear fight it out, and where we seem to go for here. We still respect our bound zones, and we can see we have a support that we have already indicated at $102,000 levels, which coincide within this box. So it's quite interesting. Right now we just have to wait and see what the market is doing. We are not going to be trading during this weekend because today is Friday and this is the onset for the weekend. These are the levels. So we will continue to watch the $103,000 levels, because that's where the confluence, that's where a lot of traders are fighting. $104,400, $500,000 levels, where is the support for us to reclaim the 0.786 Fibonacci level. So that will be support. If we can reclaim that and reclaim that as support rather, then we should see a temporary pull up to the upside before even we know what is going on, if we are going to continue to go up or we are going to pull back to the downside. We don't anticipate a pull down to the downside because, like I said earlier, we have formed a higher low and not a lower low. If we form a lower low, that's all, guys. That tells us straight up we will be going further down from here. And you can see we are doing a higher low right now. So even if we were going to go back up such as this and bounce, we should be doing this, something similar to this, and maybe bounce and till we go upside from there. So that's what I should be expecting in this chart. If we reject this level and we come up here, we go like this, then that means we are coming down eventually. So this is what we are looking at the different levels. We should be looking at $104,000 levels, something important. If we reclaim that, we have another bigger resistance, which is at $105,600 levels. If we'll be looking at all these levels, 104, 105 as levels for us to reclaim as support. If we break the $103,000, $102,000 levels, my brothers, I think we should go home and we should be calling it a day. I'm just joking, but that's just telling us there will be much more downside movement in Bitcoin in the near term. Looking at Ethereum, same thing happening to Ethereum, because Ethereum just pretty much follows whatever Bitcoin is doing. No need to panic. This is par for the course. This is normal. We should be expecting downturns as well as upsides in every market. The charts don't go up in a straight line. We should be expecting it to pull back sometimes so that it reclaims support and gives opportunity for traders to get in, gives opportunity for people to build positions. If you have not been following me, you should be following me, looking at all these positions, looking at all the opportunities that lie in this market. And this is why we are here, to make you better investors, better traders on this channel, Zero to Ferrari. See you tomorrow in my next video, where I will be giving you more positions and more opportunities and spotting opportunities for you to take control and take positions in and take advantage of what the charts and the price action is telling us. See you tomorrow. Peace.